What is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today to unpack some of the best teams right now to climb your way into the top of Arena, because this is where you want to be, guys, if you want to be earning these rewards from a day-to-day perspective. To be honest, I haven't worked hard at all in Arena as of late, just because I've been comfortably sitting in this 11 to 20 range, carefully amassing 250 power cores per day. It's really the top 10 that kind of battles on and on, and to be honest, just with the day-to-day grind and so forth, it's nice that I don't have to do any attacks just to sit comfortably here. So I want to showcase for you guys the teams that have been working for myself, because I've seen that there's typically only 3 different combinations of teams that work, and they've been able to get through many of the defenses that we're up against, even against opponents that are 30-40% higher in TCP than myself. On top of that, guys, I am pleased to share that you will not be needing Super Skrull on any of these teams. All of them have different synergies, but Super Skrull is actually more of a liability on defense, so it's been great to see that in Fusion. Although he's got the red star upgrade now in the Elite Store, he's actually not as important as you would think. If anything, the matchups that don't have Super Skrull are actually harder, in my honest opinion. Having Super Skrull against us on defense is making it easier because we have Black Knight as the direct counter. So guys, before I dive into the 3 different matchups and 3 different teams, I do want to go through kind of the staples, the essential characters that you're going to be needing, right? Obviously, at the end of the day, and sorry, I forgot to flag this here, but Black Knight's going to be essential because he's going to be the main counter for Super Skrull. The second most important character for this team synergy is going to be Apocalypse, because he's got the one shot. He's going to be doing some significant damage, and he's usually the difference maker if you're trying to close that battle out. So having both Apocalypse and as well as Black Knight are going to be the kind of the core of the team. Robbie Reyes is really important if you guys have him handy, because he's going to be synergizing obviously with the rest of the other secret defenders if they are being utilized. But as well, he's just a really great character. He's likely going to be my first character that I'm bringing to Dark Dimension 7. And then other than that, it's the other kind of interchanging parts that you'll be needing. So at times you'll see that I'm using Miss Marvel Hardlight for defensive purposes in terms of just soaking damage from Apocalypse or other kind of burst damage. We got Black Cat here being a pivot character as well. If you have her available, she's going to be making those meaningful differences when synergizing with the rest of the other secret defenders. We got Morgan Le Fay here used in specific matches. That way it becomes easy wins for us, especially with the fact that she can spread out the bleed and debuffs to the rest of the other enemies. So you'll be seeing that counter as well. And then finally, we also have Void Knight here being a very notable character and addition to this Arena team now, because of the fact that he's got that, usually he's the first or second character to go first, and he's got that initial ultimate to actually apply the ability block to flip the buffs to debuffs. In addition to that, the disruption is pretty big. So really important to have all these characters. So guys, those are all the essential characters, in my honest opinion, that make up these 3 different teams. Now we'll go through each team and talk about when you will be using them. Let's get right to it. Okay, first matchup here, we're going to be taking a look at some enemy teams that we're all going up against where they're using both Super Skrull and Void Knight. And we will be needing Void Knight on our team, but the difference is that we don't actually need Super Skrull on our side. So it's the full secret defenders here, as you can see, in conjunction with Black Knight and Void Knight. So what's going to happen is they're likely going to get their turn initially first, doing their work, and as well as shutting down our Black Knight. But then once our Void Knight goes, hopefully second actually, he's going to be able to flip everything. And now we have this opportune moment here actually to shut down their Miss Marvel. So we're going to use our Miss Marvel. We're going to rewind everything, so that way we're going to be getting the turn advantage. And you do want to be using Black Cat's special here in a meaningful manner, right? In my honest opinion, if you can stay behind the Miss Marvel Hardlight taunt, it's pretty opportune. It seems to be very successful for myself, so that's typically who I target. On top of that, then their Super Skrull is likely to get their second turn, and at this point, hopefully your Black Knight can just finish him off. And then this is kind of what I alluded to before earlier, is that Apocalypse is really the big difference maker here. Using the ultimate, as you can see, we were actually able to land our stun on the enemy Apocalypse and finishing off their Black Knight. Now it's basically 4 against 2. Super easy matchup when you have that. So sometimes I find with the turn meter, it can make a difference if maybe, for instance, you went first and then the enemy goes second. But I found with this one, it is pretty consistent. So as long as their Super Skrull goes first, which turn meter rewinds and gives us that chance to actually follow up and do that devastating work. Hence, Super Skrull being a liability in that example, which is why he's not that great on defense. Okay, so next matchup here, this is the infamous Morgan Le Fay with Void Knight combination, because you're going to see how many debuffs we'll be able to place upon the enemy. And once again, we're up against a very similar team to what we just faced. Difference is that it's a Super Skrull with the Secret Defenders mixture and Black Knight. So no Void Knight here, as you can see, just a pretty standard team, but you'll be seeing this pretty common. We start things off with Void Knight's ultimate there. Once again, just that ability block and being able to flip everything is absolutely huge. Next thing, again, similar strategy before. We're going to be shutting down the Miss Marvel Hardlight this time with Robbie using the special on her. And that way, it's going to give us an opportune moment to actually build up turn meter as well, thanks to all those debuffs that we placed. Now we can use Morgan Le Fay. It's important to use her ultimate on Black Cat because it spreads all the bleeds, and you let the bleed and the debuffs do its magic now. It doesn't look like we've changed the tides of battle just yet, but once the debuffs kick in on each of the enemy's turns, this is where it's going to be very, very detrimental. Sometimes my Robbie doesn't even survive to this point because he gets hit so hard from the retaliation attacks, but as you can see, naturally the enemy is taking their turn. Robbie using his ult, it's just a super easy cleanup, and once again, Black Knight falling on their side, easy. So I don't typically use this one, lose this one quite often actually. I do see it here and there, but when it's this matched up, it's a pretty much guaranteed win. It has like a 95% win rate for myself, so I always love to see these matchups against an enemy Secret Defenders plus Skrull and Black Knight on their defense. Okay, last but not least, guys, this is that odd one that you will see here and there with Void Knight and as well as Nightcrawler. I mean, it's not as common as you think, but I mean, I just wanted to go over this. You can actually use just the normal Secret Defenders mixture here with Black Knight, and it's going to get the job done. Nothing crazy here, as you can see, pretty standard. But yeah, I think people are just put off by the fact that they're just not really sure what to be using against this mixture, but it's actually a really squishy team to go up against. So obviously we'll have our taunt up against their Black Knight as well. This time we don't have Void Knight on our side, even though we're up against the Void Knight. But what you want to be doing is using the ultimate from Miss Marvel Hardlight. It's going to cleanse the taunt from their Black Knight. Their Void Knight's going to go and then ideally flip our buffs, obviously, at the end of the day, but it's not going to matter too much because we're going to be actually getting a sizable advantage here because our Apocalypse actually should be the one that goes next in this case, right? He's going to be able to activate the ultimate here because he got attacked quite a few times from those retaliation attacks. And now you can actually, pick and choose who you want to use the one-shot on. So I personally would prefer Apocalypse just because if you can take him down before he gets his ultimate off, it's actually very opportune. And now we have this opportunity to focus down the middle as well with the special because he can flip down the middle. So this team, they're much speedier than ours, but they're a lot squishier, which I like to see. And many times you won't be seeing like a 7 red or a 7 Void Knight just because they're not quite yet farmable yet in the game. So at that point, then it's pretty easy picking. But I think most people just get rattled because this is just not a team you would see often. Which, to be fair, totally understandable when you're not sure against this kind of team synergy here. So there you guys have it. Now I'm just kind of waiting down the clock here to finish this off. Boom, boom, boom. Easy win here. And this was able to actually get me right back into the top 20 here, which is what I wanted to capture. But again, guys, it's been pretty chill. If you can get to the top 20, you can pretty much coast for a bit and get, obviously earn that 250 power cores per day, which has been really nice to build up in my account. As you can see, the power core is looking very healthy. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Let me know anything in the comments below. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.